Thursday night, the Sun Devils are feeling good, coming off their best and most complete game of the season thus far. The team went to North Dakota searching for answers and certainly found some of them. But this celebration is now over, and it is full steam ahead with Denver coming to town this weekend. Hi, everybody. Welcome into Season 4, Episode 5 of Hell Frozen Over. It's your source for the latest Sun Devil hockey news and notes, streaming tonight on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeartRadio app. I'm Tyler Paley, the play-by-play broadcaster for Sun Devil hockey, and we are live from Mullet Arena in Tempe for our final show until January. Joining me tonight and every show this year, my broadcast partner Alex Coil and ASU head coach Greg Powers. Coach, before we get into recapping the Colorado College and North Dakota series, can you believe that we are already just shy of a third of the way through this season?
Yeah, I mean, it goes by quick. You know, we tell the players that every year, enjoy every moment, and you blink and you're a junior, then you really blink and you're a senior, and you really blink again and it's over. So
I think you're Greg Powers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be that. So, it goes by quick, and you just have to really make the most of everything you can.
Overall, aside from the rocky start in terms of a record, are you enjoying the season so far and the progress you're seeing from your team?
Yeah, I mean it's a really good group of kids. We've established that we're young, so it's just we got to be process focused and continue to try and get better every day. It's cliche, and you hear every coach say that you want to get better every day, but I think we have, and we're right there. We're close to breaking through. You win the first game of Miami, and you don't get a sweep, and you have a big comeback and win in a shootout against CC, and you lose a tight one and don't get a sweep, and then you're tied going into the third at Nodak. And have a bad 2 minutes to start the third, and then you find a way to get a big win on Saturday. So, we feel like that win we can springboard, and that's the plan.
All right, let's get into Game 1 against Colorado College. We'll rewind a bit. You mentioned it, but you guys come out flat to start, really turn it around in the second and third periods to tie the game with about a minute and 9 seconds to go in regulation. Overtime came up empty. Then you guys won 2-0 in the shootout and get the extra point for that game. How proud of you, of your guys, were you to see them kind of grind that one out and get those 2 points?
Really proud. I think from a just an effort and grit standpoint, that first period was probably the worst period that we've had in this building. You look back, there's been some not so great ones. Obviously, the first period in the Game 2 against Duluth last year wasn't great, but the one against CC felt different. We were down 3-0. There was no energy. There was no juice. There was no, swing back. Or there was no fight. And so to come in and reset and go back out and find a way to tie it up and win in a shootout was really impressive. And I think it just proved that we have it. We have to do it more consistently, obviously, in over 60 minutes. But really proud of him for bouncing back there. It was a really fun way to come back and in the nature that we did, and I think everybody was really happy about it.
Hockey's such a momentum-ridden game, and momentum can be flipped really quickly with something like effort or something else. It feels like, though, the team is struggling to find momentum from one game to the next. With the young group, how close do you feel like your group is to continuing to push and getting it not only game to game but then weekend to weekend?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many instances this year where there was winning the icebreaker and not parlaying that into success at Augustana, whether it was winning on the road in their first NCHC game at Miami and not parlaying that into success the second night, whether it was coming back down 3 against CC and then not doing it the next night. But I think that winning on the road at North Dakota, great team, great program, unbelievable environment. You guys experienced it. We had never done that before, and it was obviously, in my opinion, the best team we played this year and certainly the toughest environment. So to come back and get that win on Saturday, our guys know they can do it. They know we have what it takes in here. There's never been a lack of belief or faith or anything like that. It's just going through those experiences together and knowing that you have what it takes collectively to get through them. And we've proven that we do. So now we have to go. And obviously an unbelievable team coming in this weekend. But you went up there in the nature that we did, and after everything that we've kind of been through, hopefully we can really use that to our advantage moving forward.
I know you covered this from kind of a macro level just now, but I'm curious, like when you look at game 1 to game 2 against Colorado College, what's the difference there, and what happened Saturday as opposed to what you guys were able to do on Friday?
I mean, we actually played a better game on Saturday. We played cleaner. It was very even. It could have gone either way. We took a really dumb penalty that cost us, and we put it in our own net, and that was the difference. So both goalies were tremendous. Both goalies were really good. I think chances were dead even. Shots were pretty much dead even. So nothing. I think just continuing to really make our guys understand, like, we have to cut out the young self-inflicted wounds.
Sure.
And we still have those in our game, unfortunately. And you saw that Friday night, 2-2 going to the third, make a couple mistakes early, ends up in the back of our net. Even Saturday, we're up 3-1. We start the period really well. We get a 2-on-1. We don't score. And then we have a guy fall down at the blue line, and they cut it to 3-2. But, it's that next shift mentality that we've been talking about for 2 months. And that's all we talked about on the bench. Hey, it happens. We made a mistake. They put it in the back of our net. We're up 3-2. We would have taken this, and it's next shift. Good or bad, it has to be next shift mentality, and that's what I think our guys did. Yes, they're talking about shot count and whatever, but if you look at grade A's in that third period, we actually had more, and our guys played really well, and they got through it, and Haz was great, and it was a great win that nobody can take away from us.
The idea, of coaching hard and continuing to press into identity, you leaned on the group quite a bit between games on Friday to Saturday. Knowing and trusting that your team is going to respond to that, is that something you recruit to, or is that something you have to feel out once the guys get here?
Yeah, I mean, look, like I it is what it is, and I am what I am. Like, I'm going to tell the truth, and,
sure.
and I don't sugarcoat where we are and what we need to do to anybody, whether it's press conferences, whether it's here, whether it's in the room, whether it's one-on-one, watching guys shift with them in my office. You're going to get what you get, and I think that that's what is needed in order to get this team to where it ultimately can go. And yeah, I mean, like, it's been a lot of honest talk and conversations over the last 2 weeks to be. I believe in what we have here, and and right now, collectively, including myself and everybody in this program, we're not happy with what our record is. We're not, and the only way to fix that is to be honest with yourselves and move forward together, and that's what we did, and it worked, and hopefully it parlays into more success on Friday.
And I think we hear from guys when we have them on this show, or we talk to them like, "Oh, why'd you ultimately come here?" Honesty from the coaching staff is one of the first things that they mention.
Yeah, and it does come from a place of love, I trust, right?
No, 100%.
You have that trust in them. It's just doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you stop being honest and you start blowing smoke, that's when you lose trust.
Sure.
And I've had plenty of players over the last 18 years say, like, hey, you're raw and you're emotional and you care, and at the end of the day, we'd rather have that than the other way. Yep. So it is what it is, and I am what I am.
When you look back at the North Dakota series, obviously a frustrating loss on Friday after tying it, following 2 periods of play, and then come out with that win. I know your goal is always, sweep at home, split on the road, ideally. You guys got that split. Are you looking back on that weekend positively, or perhaps not?
I think you have to. I mean, they're really good, and I mean, they're a very, very good hockey team, and it's not easy to win up there at all. And you go on the road in this league, and really anywhere. If you go on the road and you split, you're happy. You never want to come home with no points, and we were able to get a regulation win and 3 points, feeling really good about where we are heading home on Saturday night, heading into this week. And if you get the split, you always want to get Saturday, not Friday, because you go into the next week feeling a little bit better about yourselves. But yeah, you have to be happy with the split. It doesn't mean you can be content with it. We have to get back into the equation and where we want to be, start to get some sweeps, and we know that. That's a position we put ourselves in. We put ourselves in that position last year, and we were able to do it, and that's what we need to do moving forward here. So it's one game at a time, and we're focused on getting Friday, and we'll worry about Saturday.
The top-end guys have been consistent. They've gotten it done, Cruz, Lucius, and Bennett, Schimek especially. But I think the guy that maybe made the biggest difference or at least popped the most compared to what he's done so far, Noah Powell in that game on Friday. What
Saturday.
did he do? Or Saturday, yes. What did he do particularly well, and how important can he be for the group the rest of the way?
He's such a good hockey player. When he's engaged and he's moving his feet and he's physical, nobody wants to play against him. He's big, he's strong, he's mean, he's got hard skill. He's a really, really good player, and he got scratched 2 games in a row to kind of, find himself and recalibrate and reset in every way. And what he showed us on Saturday was everything that we knew we were going to get and recruited and had hoped for. And, he gave us so much life and energy. His stick was good. He was all over the ice. He didn't stop moving his feet. He had a couple scoring chances. He was great on the forecheck. He had some big hits. He made a huge difference. And so it's just encouraging that to come out more consistently. And if it does, it's going to be a huge shot in the arm for this team and give us a ton of confidence.
Do you like that line of him with Mo? And
it was our best
Alfred?
line. I mean, we obviously, I think they got the most 5-on-5 ice. I felt really good with them on the ice. They're big. They were moving their feet. They were playing the way that they need to play in order to be successful. And that's a line with 6'4", 6'2", 6'3", all over 210 pounds that if you're going, nobody's going to want to play against that,
Nope.
And so, it's an identity line, and Saturday they gave us a really good, hard identity that this team needs, and that's what we're going to be looking for from them moving forward.
Last thing from me on the North Dakota series. I'm curious, at the risk of ticking off some North Dakota fans. What'd you think of the What'd you think of the environment at the Ralph?
I thought it was good. It's 13,000 people, beautiful building, passionate fan base. It was good. It was good. I mean,
was it intimidating?
No, I don't think it was.
Didn't feel that way to me either.
No, I don't think it was. I mean, but like, I don't think you could ask me about any environment, and I would say that it's not intimidating. I think you have to be mentally strong enough to use any environment you play in to your advantage, and that's what we encouraged our guys to do. Use the energy to give you juice and motivation and play well, and I think our guys did that. Really, minus a period, but they're a great program, great fan base, very passionate group of people, and it was a fun trip.
Yeah, certainly was. All right, last one from me before we take a quick break. It seems like you have a goaltending problem, and in the best way possible. I mean, a third of the way through the season, you've got 2 really good options in Herbs and Has. What's your assessment of your goaltending duo right now?
Look, I mean, again, to be honest, we've had it the other way around,
Yep.
and that's no fun. And to have 2 guys that you can rely on any given night is such a luxury. And I've said it, and it's not coaches speak, it's not BS. We have 2 number ones in this room.
Yeah.
And they're both good enough to start, 30 games a season, and Paz has already done that at this level. He showed why he's so good on Saturday night. Herbs has already shown why we're so excited about him now and into the future. And now we just have to manage it. And the nicest thing about both of those kids is they really genuinely support each other so much. Nobody was happier on our team or in that building for Has for Has than Sam Urbon. Yeah. Herbs gave him the fork. He was really happy for him. They support each other so well. When Herbs played really well here against CC, Has was equally as happy for him. And that's what's going to advance this team is that support from within that's genuine, and we need these guys to continue to do that, and they're great examples of what we want Sun Devils to be all about.
Have you decided on your starter for Friday yet?
Nope, I have not. And I really haven't.
Okay.
So it's just going to be a gut feel, and right now, we've split weekends with them, and that's seemed to go pretty well. it doesn't mean that that's going to be the case, every weekend moving forward. But if you had a gun to my head, I'd say that's probably what we're going to do.
All right. Well, no gun to your head, fortunately. And all it takes is one game to really turn things around. ASU, of course, hoping that game against North Dakota is that turning point. We will preview ASU's next series coming up in the third period. Up next, Sun Devil forward and co-captain Bennett Schimek joins us to discuss his hot start, along with leading his team through some adversity. That conversation right after this break on the Mountain American Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network. Thanks for sticking with us for the second period of Hell Frozen Over. It's our hour-long show talking all things Sun Devil hockey. Tonight, we are live from the locker room here at Mullet Arena, our final show until Tuesday, January 6th. So wishing all of you a happy holiday season. With so many underclassmen on Arizona State's roster this year, the Sun Devils needed some consistency year over year. And so far, there's been nobody more consistent than co-captain Bennett Schimek. The NCHC's leading returning point scorer picked up right where he left off, and he's been a pest for opposing teams through 12 games. Shim joins us now on Help Frozen Over. Appreciate your time. Thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, so first things first, give us a vibe check on the guys who occupy this locker room right now. Coming off a huge win after that tough start through the first 11 games, how's the feeling in here right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not the start we were looking for necessarily, but I think getting one up in Grand Forks last weekend was hopefully a big turning point for our group, and I think guys are just really looking to get back up on the ice Friday, Saturday to kind of build off that momentum.
All it takes is one, right?
Exactly.
At least you hope.
Yeah.
From a leadership standpoint, of course, it's really easy, it seems, to lead when things are going right, when everybody's pushing in that right direction. When you were named captain, I'm sure you thought about, all the good things, lifting trophies like you've already done so far this season. And a slow start. An underrated part of a leader is what they're able to do in the rough times. How have you guys navigated the rough times so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it like I said before, wasn't the start we were necessarily looking for, and I think like you said, when I was named co-captain, I was looking forward to lifting the trophies and being a leader of a really great team, and unfortunately that's not the start that we had. But I think Kyle and I have done a good job navigating the rough times and kind of getting guys to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I will say, though, it's times like this, though, that make those trophy-raising portions and the celebratory moments mean that much more later in the season.
For sure. I mean, you're going to face adversity at one point or another in the season. So, I mean, I think we're looking at it like, we're happy we got out of the way early, and we're kind of looking towards the good times now. But obviously, it's not easy to lead a team when you have kind of a slow start and a very young group that, is inexperienced and, hasn't seen a lot of these things in college hockey. But I would say, the other captains have done a great job as well, kind of keeping this group together. And I think everybody in the room is feeling a lot more confident and ready to go this weekend.
On that same note, how do you kind of stay positive? Because you're a guy who's been there, done that, right? Like you've been at Providence where you guys had success. You come here last year, we saw the success you guys were able to have after another rough start. How do you use those experiences, which is something Coach Powers has been saying for weeks now, using those experiences to turn things into a positive and an opportunity more than it is, an inconvenience or frustration?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome for a lot of the guys and a lot of the new guys this year that haven't seen, a lot of things in college sports to take a look back at, our team last year. Obviously we were kind of looking to avoid that,
Sure.
coming into this year. But guys, they can look back and see that, we've done it before and it's possible to kind of dig ourselves out of this hole. So I think that just gives guys kind of an extra boost looking around and looking past last season.
I want to turn to you individually. They say, and I'm sure you've heard this saying, that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And it certainly seems like you must be in perfect health because you're averaging more than an assist per game, 1.5 points per game up to this point, really lighting up the score sheet. And it was no different up in North Dakota, especially in Game 2 when you had that incredible performance. What's working well for you this year, or is it just much of the same year over year?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of, I'm trying to just be consistent on and off the ice, sticking to my routine, sticking to what I do, and kind of just letting the going out there and playing my game, and hopefully it works out for me.
Too humble. Brag a little bit. Come on, 1.5 points per game through 12.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
I mean, this isn't going to help me out here, but I mean, when I'm playing with Cruz and Sean, and I mean, the power play has been great.
Yeah.
It makes it easy on me. I mean, those guys are so talented, and if I give it to them, they're usually going to do the right thing. And I mean, the way Cruz is shooting the puck right now,
crazy.
I mean, helps me out in the assist category a little bit.
We had him on a couple shows ago, and he had nothing but good things to say about playing with you. So
yeah.
I know you guys have known each other a very long time.
Yeah, a long time. And just having that chemistry I mean, we've been practicing together for, all year, and I think him being back to full strength is a big thing too.
Huge.
And, I mean, we've played with each other since we were 12, 13, so kind of knowing where he's on the ice doesn't hurt. And then, when I give it to him, I know he's going to put it in.
Yeah, but you guys are doing things that you guys were doing in practice when you guys were younger on air now against the best college hockey players in the country. How fun is that?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's a dream come true, to be honest. I don't think if you would have told us back when we were 12, 13 that, this would ever be possible or, could ever be a thing. I remember when we were younger and we committed to different schools that, when we graduated Gentry, we kind of thought, that'd be the end of the line. And then to have an opportunity to come back to Arizona State and play together again was just, something I don't think either of us, ever thought would be possible. And, we couldn't turn it down.
Yeah, something you guys couldn't pass up. You mentioned the power play a moment ago, and I did want to ask you about that. You're no stranger to that unit, but over the last couple of series, you guys have had 5 forwards, including yourself, on your first unit. It's worked well from a production standpoint, but how does it change the dynamic of that unit and kind of allow you guys to have more of a buzz as 5 attackers out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's comfortable playing anywhere, and I mean, obviously, this is my first time running the top. Actually, funny enough, I ran the top when Cruz and I were 15.
Full circle.
They're doing stuff they're doing.
Yeah, so when the idea was kind of floated past, I was like,
why not?
I've done it before. It was 7 years ago, but I've done it before. Yeah, but I mean, all those guys are so smart and they can play anywhere. So having 5 guys, and I think 5 offensive-minded guys out there really helps. And I mean, all 5 of those guys are just killers too. So I mean, when they get a chance, they're not going to miss often.
Right. And you guys were looking for that spark on the power play unit. I want to rewind for a moment back to that North Dakota series. Tough game 1 after tying the game in the second period, but then just a fantastic effort on Saturday. What was your attitude? What were your teammates' attitudes from Friday into Saturday that kind of propelled you guys to be able to split that series as opposed to going home without a point?
Yeah, I mean, I think throughout the whole year, I mean, we've been so close, and I think everybody in our locker room believes we can play with anybody, and I think we proved that again on Friday night through 40 minutes. That I mean, we kind of came out a little slow, feeling out at the arena. I mean, it's the first time a lot of those guys have played on that big of a stage, so I think it was a little bit of a feel-out process in the first, and then we really found our stride in the second period. And then obviously the third didn't go how we wanted to, but I think the message going into Saturday was just, if we play a complete 60 minutes, like we can come out of here with a split. And that's kind of just what the message was in the room, and especially going into the third period on Saturday, it was just, keep our foot on the pedal and close it out.
Well, now you have that to build off of beyond that series too, so certainly an advantage.
Definitely.
Like between games, especially with all the energy that it took to come back on Friday night, how did you guys find it within yourselves not to get too low going into Saturday and continuing to believe? Because there was every opportunity where it could have been, man, we tried it again and it just wasn't enough. Maybe it's just not our weekend.
Yeah, I think we have a resilient group to begin with, and when you're kind of in that situation, we're sitting at 3-6-1. You don't really have a choice.
Sure.
We knew we had to get out there and get a win on Saturday night, or we keep going a little deeper in the hole. So I think everybody knew the stakes, and I mean, obviously it's early in the season, but it almost felt like a must-win game for us, and I think everybody kind of had that mindset going into the game, and it felt more like a playoff game than a game in November.
How good did that shorthanded empty netter feel? I'll add another shorty for Schimek. It's becoming like a regular theme for you, my guy.
Well, I mean, not as hot of a start as I did last year
Yeah, I
with
guess
the shorthanded goals.
That Air Force game, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good introduction to Sun Devil hockey.
We were like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
All right, he's half decent.
Yeah.
We'll keep him.
Hat trick game on, 2 on the shorty, we'll take it.
Yeah.
That was my first time penalty killing in a long time too. So
That's awesome.
That was a little bit of a nuts start to my ASU career.
Penalty kill, yeah. Shorthanded goal, empty net. That was pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, when I got that puck in the middle, I mean, I was, a lot of times we don't like to, shoot the puck on an empty net from our side when it's 5-on-6. But being 4-on-6, I knew I could go for it, and I don't know, it was kind of on its edge, and then it took a couple skips towards the net, and
we were both holding each other up in the booth, like, is it gonna go? And then it went. And we were like, all right, pack it up. That's it.
When it hit the blue line, I knew it's going in, and it felt amazing. Obviously, there's a little bit of time left, but it kind of sealed the deal a little bit, and kind of took a sigh of breath of fresh air, and it was just it was a great moment for myself and the team overall.
Collective sigh of relief over the maroon and gold
for
there.
Sure.
You guys have Denver this weekend. It's a team you're very familiar with. You guys beat 3 times last year, but of course they were the ones to end your season up in St. Paul. Do you still have any sort of bad taste in your mouth from that game, or is that kind of a thing of the past at this point?
A little bit of both, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we don't like these guys. Having the history we had against them last year, and obviously they're a top program in college hockey. So when you line up against those guys, it just means a little bit more. Knowing what they're capable of, where the rest of the country sees them, it means a little bit more. I mean, back to last year, obviously they were the team to eliminate us from what everybody believed could have been a national championship, winning team. So. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides
bad taste lingering.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
On the flip side of that, another opportunity. How are you guys approaching the Pioneers this year and really propelling into your into your November and then December slate of games?
Yeah, I mean obviously they lost a lot of guys over the off season, but it seems like they picked up pretty much right where they left off with some new guys. So we know it's going to take a full 60. We know we're not going to get off it, as easily as we may have against some other opponents. We just have to pull. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we got to put together a full 60 minutes, like we haven't done probably so far yet this season, and it's going to take that Friday and Saturday. We know they're not going to go away. They're well coached. Very skilled, so it's going to take everything.
It just goes to show to me, like, the game is pretty simple to understand as far as, like, moving forward and getting these wins, right? It's playing a full 60 and going out there and not letting up, but it's about doing that as opposed to talking about it.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly. I mean, all these teams in our league are so skilled that, I mean, if you let off the gas for a second, you look up on the scoreboard and they'll put 1 or 2 in the net, which has happened to us a couple times this year. Yeah. So we're looking to avoid that, and yeah.
But that also means you guys have the same opportunity.
Exactly.
So that's what we're rooting for. Well, I'll tell you what, the Sun Devils very grateful to have the leadership and the productivity of you, my friend. Bennett Schimek, appreciate you stopping by, spending some time with us. We got tacos outside you can go enjoy. And I know you got to head to class, so appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, good luck this weekend. When we return to help Frozen Over on this Tuesday night, Coach Powers rejoins the show for the 3rd period. He'll help us preview Denver and the rest of the Sun Devils straight ahead. Stick with us. Help Frozen Over back in just a moment. You're on the Sun Devil Radio Network. Back in Tempe for the 3rd period. You're listening to Hell Frozen Over live tonight on the Mountain America Credit Union Sun Devil Radio Network from Mullet Arena. Our next show, Tuesday, January 6th, after the holidays. So we certainly hope you make plans to listen to us live here on Fox Sports 910. Coach, this weekend you preached to your team about being willing to pay the price. That was your message. You explained some version of that to us and to the few dozen Sun Devil fans who made the trip to North Dakota. I'm wondering if you can explain it to our listeners here tonight and whether you saw more of it from your team, especially on Saturday.
Yeah, I did. It was a step in the right direction in that regard. From day one, look, we have a room full of really talented, skilled, capable players. Keyword capable. But In this game, and I think pretty much in any competition, right? It's not about what you're capable of doing. It's about what you're willing to do. What are you willing to do to get a win? What are you willing to do to achieve team success? And that's what it's all about, Or it could go so many different ways, but you have to be willing. You have to be willing to do anything and everything within your power to pay the price to get your team a win and do your part. And whether it's going to dirty areas and taking a cross check to the back of the neck to score a goal and making it hurt, that's paying the price. Whether it's eating a puck with your face, that's paying the price. And that's what we're trying to get this group collectively to do more. And certainly on Saturday we did.
You've also mentioned a couple of times that hockey is the most honest game. What did you mean by that, and what about the game makes it that?
You get out of it what you put in, and that's what's so great about this game is I believe you earn your puck luck. We haven't had a lot of it this year, but you earn it when you work. You earn it when you're willing to pay the price, and the more you're willing, the more you get the bounces. That's just the way this game works. It's an honest game, and you can't cheat it. If you cheat it, you'll have no success.
All right, time to pivot a little bit to our weekly injury report, trying to be cautious not to jinx anything, but do we have any new injuries heading into this weekend?
Knock on wood, no we don't.
That's good news. All right, I asked you this on Saturday, but Brazen Bozer debuted as an alternate captain last weekend in his home state nonetheless. Pretty special for him. I'm wondering if you can expand on what went into that decision and why you think he's now a valuable part of your leadership group.
He's a great leader. He leads by example. He's the epitome of leading by example. He's not an overly vocal guy. We have other leaders in this room that wear letters that are vocal. But we needed some leadership on our back end, in our D-core, and he's the guy to do it. He's logging the most minutes. I think that the young D-core really looks up to him, even though he's young, because he does everything the right way. He off the ice, on the ice, the way he treats his teammates, the way he treats everybody in the community. He's just a really good representative of our program, and he's a kid that I've always looked at as a future captain, and now he is one. And before he's done here, he'll wear the C.
One thing on that back end, you continue to juggle pairings and try to find that, consistency there. For fans that are watching the game, what are you looking for to out of a pairing to get to stick together and continue to build?
Well, ideally, we don't like anybody playing on their offhand. It's really tough to take pucks off the wall, especially in the O-zone. So we like lefty-righty in an ideal world. That it doesn't always work out that way, but just consistency. We don't need our D to win us games, but we need them to kill plays and move pucks, and then again, that's something Bose brings to us. He'll level of calm and efficiency on the back end. That he can break pucks out a number of different ways with his brain, with his feet, and when you have a player that does that, it usually can get contagious, and you can feel our D-core getting better every weekend. They really are, and that comes with experience, and that's what we signed up for with a D-core that on most nights the oldest D is Anthony Dowd, who's a junior. Everybody else is a sophomore or freshman. So, and on some nights we have 4 freshmen in the lineup. So, it is what it is. But what will become and what will pay off will be worth it.
Did you see a pairing that jumped off to you, or you
I
felt comfortable with?
Yeah, Bose and Shelley have been really good. They've eaten a lot of minutes the last 2 weeks since they've been putting together. And the plan preseason was to have them together, but I think Richie Barron and Shelley were kind of our top pair before Bose was back, so we left them together because they had some continuity. But Bose and Shelley are a pair that they're in great shape. They skate really well. They defend well. They break out pucks, and they're a pair that can eat, if you need them to, 24, 25 minutes. And that allows our other young D to really settle in and get their reps, but not overdo them, and overwork them. So it's working, and those two have been tremendous.
It at least looked that Shelberg was playing the most confident, too.
Well, Shelley and both. I mean, you could probably put him out there for 50 minutes to make up for some lost time. He missed the first 6 games. Come on, he's got it in him.
Thought about it.
Another leader on this team, the guy who we just spoke to a moment ago, is your co-captain, Bennett Schimek. Obviously, a point and a half per game so far. He's picked up right where he left off last year, the NCHC's leading returning point scorer. What has he meant to this group, and how do you evaluate his start to the season?
He's just such a good hockey player, and what makes that even more palatable is he's an even better person. You hear people say that all the time, like, great player, even better person. Like, he's the epitome of that. He's just a good human being. Treats everybody the right way, whether you're a teammate or just anyone on campus or in the community. He's just a good soul. If you met his parents, you would know why. Comes from a really good family, and we're just thrilled he's a Sun Devil.
I asked him last segment about, like when you're named captain, you kind of dream of all the lifting the trophies and all the good moments and all that stuff, but where you truly make your mark as a captain is steadying the ship through difficult times. How proud of you are you of this leadership group getting through the tough times?
Really, I don't. As crazy as it sounds, I don't know if I've ever been more proud of a leadership group. Taking on the task that these guys took on, with 17 new faces and molding them together off the ice, it's not easy, and they have done an unbelievable job, the lion's share of it obviously goes to Shim and Smoley, that they're kind of yin and yang, and you got Captain Sirius and Bennett, who's kind of more of a people person, so to speak, and then Cruz, who's just kind of Joe Cool, happy-go-lucky, but he's not afraid to speak up and speak his mind, and then McGurn, who's a new player himself, and those are the 4 really we started with. They've done an unbelievable job. They care so much, and they really want to have a great season here before a couple of them depart with graduation. I'm really proud of them. It's a tough thing that they took on. They've done a really good job with it, and they'll continue to. And then I think Bose is really going to help.
Did you at all think that either Cruz or Shim may make that Spengler Cup roster?
I think both would have made it, but we didn't. We told them no player could go
because you guys have that series.
We're at Dartmouth, So I mean, our season matters more, and to us it matters more. And to be fully transparent, neither one of them I think would want to go. Because they'd rather be with our team. It's highly likely we're going to be without Potsy. Because he's going to be at World Juniors, and that's a different story.
Sure.
That's a different stage.
Yeah.
You're playing for your country. You're not playing for a college select team in the Spengler Cup. It's a great event. It's one that we want our program to be a part of moving forward. But because of the domino effect of joining the NCHC so last minute, we had to schedule a certain way, and the Dartmouth series we owed to them, and this is when we could go. So we need to have all hands on deck. Oh yeah, by the way, they're 6-0.
Yeah.
So
right.
So we're gonna need our top guys to go in there and have success.
But also, it's an important non-conference to build up the resume too.
Exactly.
With how it started.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, let's before we skip ahead to those, because I do want to ask about those, but let's dive into the next series. Denver comes to town. You guys beat the Pios 3 out of 5 times last year. Of course, the heartbreaker in the NCHC semifinals, the most recent matchup. Denver has been good this year, as always. Just 1 point left on the table in conference games so far this season. What else should we know about the Pioneers coming in this weekend?
They're just as well coached as anybody. I mean, DC, the job he does with his staff up there is second to none, and the proof's in the pudding. The results speak for themselves. He's an awesome dude. They're a great staff, and they have an unbelievable program. So are they younger? Yes. Do they have a bunch of new guys? Yes. Did they lose a ton of horses last year? Yes. But they're clearly still really good. They're Denver, and there's a reason why they have 10 national championships and all the history that they do. I think they're kind of in the mindset at that program where you don't rebuild, you reload.
Yeah.
And so they're a hell of a team.
It's one of those where I think the fans are going to love the matchup too. High-flying nature. It's not going to necessarily be hits flying around. It's going to be skill and all kinds of showcasing of talent, right?
Yeah, I mean, they play a lot differently than North Dakota, but they're not fun to play against. You know, if you don't commit to defending Denver and really having good sticks and killing plays in your D zone and you know, being aggressive and playing on your toes, you're in for a long night. They can hem you in for a while. Their D are really active. I mean, their two top leading scorers are defensemen. You know, so you know, they generate a lot of offense from the back end, and you need to be ready for it.
Yeah, reigning NCHC Defenseman of the Week, Boston Buckberger and Eric Polkamp. They are a dual threat. I don't want to get too far ahead, but this is our last show before the holiday break.
No, I'm not going to see you guys till after Christmas.
You'll see us. We'll be at every single game.
We'll see you Christmas morning.
Whether you like, literally on Christmas
thank
morning.
God.
After Ohio State.
Got Santa delivering presents over here.
You guys have Denver, then Ohio State. I'm never going to get through this. A week off, then off to Duluth, then another week off, then Dartmouth, then back home for the Desert Classic. Feels like a balanced mix of mostly non-conference action, some recovery time, perhaps a good time to get back on track. Is that how you're kind of looking at the next 6 weeks or so?
Hey, look, we're focused on Friday.
Sure.
We got enough on our plate with Denver, the ranked number 3, coming in here. You know, 3 straight Frozen Fours, and then Ohio State. You know, it was the top 15, you know, Big Ten team, and then at Duluth, another top 5 team. So, you know, there's no rest for the weary. The only way you get through a stretch like this is to go one game at a time.
Fair enough. Coach Greg Powers with the latest here on Health Frozen Over. His Sun Devils hit the ice Friday and Saturday at home against Denver, and you'll hear from him on our pregame coverage, which begins at 6:30 on Friday. Coach, appreciate you. Good luck this weekend. We'll chat on Friday. 3 periods down. More to come. When we return, Alex and I will chat more about those last 2 series and preview the schedule ahead. Overtime is next here on the Sun Devil Radio. Back at the mullet for overtime on Hell Frozen Over. Tyler Paley, Alex Coil, having a grand old time after that Saturday win. How was that flight home?
Oh, so much better.
Oh my gosh! Could you have imagined the vibe on that flight if it were a sweep?
Oh, I was just saying leaving Grand Forks.
Oh.
Look, no, but yes, it was so much better. How, you know, with the win and how they played and to earn that too, right?
Yeah, like in all seriousness, I think it showed us and a lot of the fans watching what this team has the ability to be, and I think we are among the many who are hoping that this is truly the turning point from a rocky start to the season. Yeah,
and I think it is because you saw the style, you saw guys that stepped up. You know, the shuffling in the line chart too to come up with that third line, as Coach mentioned in our first segment, have 3 guys that are above 6'2" and above 200 pounds, and play like that too, right? You know, Noah Powell, what he was able to do on Saturday with his stick and stuff that just immediately popped up even to us, and you know, we were not close to ice level. So to have the energy from him and to have them rewarded with a goal too, instilled in the rest of the group that if you play with that mentality, you're not only rewarded with the win as a group, but you're rewarded with some stats as well.
Yeah, it was a really impressive effort from that line. I know you and I both really enjoyed all the time that they were out there, and I would assume, and we didn't get a straight answer from Powers a little while ago, but I would be very surprised to see that trio separated headed into this weekend.
I honestly think you can run the lines back.
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Because it also is a reward for how they play.
Sure, right. The only question is who starts in net, which only time will tell, I suppose. All right, let's jump into the obvious here. Bennett, Schimek, 5 multi-point games this year, including a 3-point night on Saturday. Cruz Lucius continues his tear through the first third of the season. Sun Devils, I know we talked about this a bit, they're now 22-1-1 when he has 2 or more points in a game. It's kind of wild. And really,
bad.
I mean, those 2 have been the offensive superstars for the Devils so far.
Well, and when you look at teams that have success, no matter the sport, no matter what level, it's led by its leaders, right? The big-time players make the big-time plays in big-time moments, right? And when they're on their game and you get the supplemental stuff from that third line like we just discussed, that's a winning recipe for hockey. So when the captains, when the leadership and the guys that are supposed to be good and racking up those points are and doing it at their highest level, that's when this group can really go.
I want to rewind for a minute to the Colorado College series, which started out with such promise. But ended up leaving a bad taste in our mouths because Friday, such a roller coaster, ends with 2 points. But rather than a 5-point weekend with a win on Saturday, it was a fairly disappointing result. I do agree with Coach Powers in that he thinks Saturday they actually played better. But again, it was just a story of a few isolated mistakes being the difference.
Right, and finding that consistency from the youth on the back end is always going to be something that you're going to see the entire season.
Yeah.
It's just about making that quantity a lot less and seeing that a lot less, like what we saw on Saturday, right? There was a big-time mistake late in the game from one of those young guys, but only ended up in one goal and not that snowball effect.
And they had more margin for error, right?
Correct.
Because they were already up by 2 at that point.
100%. And so, the growing pains are going to be there all season, but, you're at a point where if you can create cushion or you can just lower the number of those, you're going to feel fine.
North Dakota, I think we both agreed, and it's hard not to, that was the best game of the season so far from the Devils. Contributions from really up and down the lineup, and I mean, Connor Hasley, how bad do you think he needed that game?
And it was weird, like the way he started the game. You're like, what in the world?
Right,
like it was one of those goals where it's like, was it on him? Did it go in and off somebody? Like,
yeah, it turns out it was deflected in.
Yeah, but still, like just a weird, like
wonky. Yeah,
that went in.
Yeah.
How? But to respond and make 39 of his next 40 attempts were all saves.
Yep.
That's like. Only a veteran can bounce back like that, which is the value that he brings in, right? And he didn't, he didn't wet his pants. He didn't, continue to put the tail between his legs in a tough environment. He just said, all right, that went in. Now let's go dominate.
Well, that speaks to the duo that has been Hasley and Urban. I mean, you look at the final score on Friday, and you see 5 goals given up, and it doesn't jump out as like, wow, what a great goalie performance. But, he did have a fantastic game on Friday, and following 2 really good games, against Colorado College. So
he looked really good, and, he's a confident guy. I love watching him.
Yeah, I think both of them will be fine the rest of the way. All right, a few seconds left here. Curious, what does ASU need to do against Denver and then propel them through November and December?
Yeah, I think continuing to be led in terms of intent and with identity by that third line, but led in scoring by the top 2, right? In continuing to make the plays on the boards and earn everything and play that honest game that will reward you. Look, Denver does not have a great record in this building. You've been close to sweeping them a couple of times. Keep it that way and finish the job.
Seems like a good recipe for success to me. All right, Sun Devils back home this weekend. Hope you can join us. 7 p.m. puck drop Friday. 5 on Saturday. You can watch both on NCHC TV and Fox 10 Extra, or you can listen right here on Fox Sports 910. Our thanks tonight to Sun Devil Hockey head coach Greg Powers and Bennett Schimek for joining us, and also to our producer engineer Sean Preston and his team for their help. For Alex Coil, I'm Tyler Paley. We'll talk to you Friday at 6:30 for ASU and Denver. Thanks for tuning in to Help Those Numbers, everybody. Good night.